again, I should go there again because they'll expect that I will move, thinking that I'm going to be smart about it. But I'm not going to be smart about it. But I'm actually going to be really smart about it because I'm playing them.
Games.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but I mean, this is just safe play. This is just safe play coming out from the Legion right now. They're up 2-0. They just need one more map win to take this victory. Now, we will still play it out, all 4 maps, just as they do in the OWL, because every map matters. Only 4 teams from each group move on to playoffs week.
All right, Mikey A checking his corners going, oh God, there's not a hog here. So God's not go with the double fake and stay in the same position. Instead, it's gonna be a better opening here from Mayhem Academy where, hey, your Tracer wasn't picked in the first 2 seconds. Of course, as far as God's creeping over the top, is this a horror movie?
Instantly, he had to blink away. He did not want to chance that at all, but it is gonna be Gods to actually peel back to try and deal with him. The dive comes on out. The hull didn't really stop the Winston. He's still on the high ground. Loopy surviving that.
Meanwhile, you did have Mikey trying to get the objective, ended up getting pushed off. The Legion hiding behind those Theresa and pushing back the attack. Academy wasn't quite able to get enough poke. They ended up retreating themselves. Now you have Mikey A on a secret agent mission. He's going to wait for the rest of his team to regroup and then come in up the back.
But they did avoid a huge threat in Corey here. But oh, Corey not able to connect with the headshots, but more Will taking out Blase already. The defense starting to fall now. Blase is gonna have to run back from spawn. The dive comes out. It's gonna be Corey to fall next. Pooks brings back Blase into this, but still they are a man down. It's Gods with the sweet spot shot.
Bringing it back. Just when you think more has opened the door, Gods just moving his way onto point. Oh, stuck, and God did not have the ability to take a breather in that situation. Mike A coming in big, and finally, Gladiators Legion going to be removed off the point. That should be a quick take for the Mayhem Academy.
Instant changes coming out from the Legion as they are going to be moving on to defend point B. Pinker going over to that Winston and Gods onto the Diva now. Mayhem Academy making some swap-offs themselves. Mikey A, he's going to want to take the high ground with this Soldier 76, but it's going to be a difficult task, especially with the likes of Pinker and Gods in your face.
Well, you've hit the right point here, is that you want to run a 76 here on blast, get your 76 in a good position. While saying, you can open with the tire here. I think it was a little bit early. They should be able to deal with it. I say should, but no, found Mikey. Mikey, you failed hide and seek.
He does get the resurrection though, so they're gonna go back into this. Maybe Krem's getting demeched here by Corey, so that's gonna delay them even more now, but still, Mayhem Academy with their first push, they still have 5 minutes and 45 seconds left.
5 minutes, 45 seconds left. Plenty of time, and yet you can't be complacent. A big part here is gonna be this early EMP. In fact, this is the best opportunity that Mayhem might get all map long, just because of the EMP and the relative weakness of Gladiators Legion. You can take down Rulf early on if you play it right, but again, Panker able to find Krems in the right spot, doesn't let him reach back. He's gonna be rezzed up, but the res has been taken up. Bomb in from Corey, does not get the kill, but Legion, they're just holding Mayhem back. Mayhem hasn't had any, like, iota of actually going in here seriously.
Yeah, Legion's fine. They want to burn as much time off the clock as possible. Right now, they want to build more time for Blase to be able to get that into the back line. Is Za EMP, but already he's going to go ahead and use that Transcendence early.
That's still good for Za. That was the mind games that you see between a Tracer, or sorry, a Zenyatta and a Sombra, and he made him use the Transcendence because he didn't want to get EMP. Now the EMP's up for real. Za uses it. Doesn't quite get as much as you'd want here. I mean, sure, Rulf is out of the fight, but now it's looking good. Mike A with great positioning over the top. You have to evict him from this point, and it's going to be very difficult. Mayhem Academy now has firmly turned this to their advantage.
Yeah, both support ultimates were committed by the Legion here. 1-6 secured, Mayhem Academy. There's a second, not able to stop that as it ticks on up. Pinker jumps in, but he's instantly focused down. He's down to a sliver of HP. It's going to be Krems to finish him off.
Krems finishing it back off. Mayhem looking for the early attack here. They will not get a better chance than this. Mikey piling on from the back. Plenty of room to work with. Corey trying to end this here, but not going to happen. And Mayhem Academy looking the best they have looked all series long. 4 minutes and 21 seconds left on the clock as they get through B.
And that really came down to Za's play. He got into the back. He was on top of the Zenyatta, and he had to force him. Rolf was forced to use that EMP, or he would have just died instantly. But the most crucial point about that is that Pooks on the opposite end, he actually used his Valkyrie at the same time.
You know, I'm actually going to disagree to a side there and say that I don't think Rolf had to use the Transcendence there. So here's the thing. Yes, if EMP went off there, he would have died. But he was in the back behind a wall. That means the EMP was only going to hit him, and you still could have backed out. I think it was probably fine to not Transcendence there, but Rolf got spooked almost on instinct because there's many situations where you do have to transcend early.
Yeah.
in that particular instance, I actually think Rolf could have held it, but it is what it is, and it's really good play, the force that out of him.
So now, it's going to be the Academy team, Mayhem Academy, on the defense. Interested to see, there we go, Za is going to go for that Junkrat. Basically, similar composition. Instead, Mikey A, though, will be picking up the Tracer, so no Widowmaker for them. Gladiators, when they try to run that composition with the Widowmaker, really didn't find much off of it, but they are looking to run an offensive Widow.
They are looking to run an offensive Widow. Corey will be on that. Of course, Corey, long history with Hitscan. Made his mark on the scene in the beginning as somewhat of a McCree one-trick and has branched out from there. Also, it's going to be a change of pace here for Panker, who might have the title of Winston God, but curious to see just where his Reinhardt is right now, where you don't see him play it as often, but the few times I have seen it, it has been pretty decent. So different shades of Panker here today.
Yeah, if it's still up to his Apex levels, I am expecting some real pain to come out from Panker here now. It's the point, as the gates unlock, speed boosting in with Pooks here. We're gonna get sight of the composition coming up from Mayhem. Corey does still have to be careful. We'll see if Mikey A tries to deal with him. Oh, it's actually the orbs of the Zenyatta more.
Oh, you gotta finish that kill if you're Tracer. You can't let the Widow off the hook. Corey able to get away. That was not good on the Tracer end here. You've got to fish that immediately.
Oh.
Mikey, that is a bit of a throw, and he might be playing in high ping, but that can't happen. Now the Legion working on a man advantage. Instead of being a man down, they get to just run on the point. Panker gets to swing the hammer, and they have no respect for human life right now as they just W-mouse won their way in.
Yeah, it's just the Slambulance coming out, different shades of looks coming out from the Legion here. Moira's gonna have the Coalescence. More importantly, Blase is gonna be able to combine that if they want to with that Graviton Surge. All these tank ultimates coming online very shortly.
And this is where Legion can get all sorts of momentum. I mean, the key part, you mentioned tank ultimates. Graviton Surge, period. Look at what Blase is going to do here. It's going to be up to Krems to try and eat it, but it's on a whim and a prayer. That's not the most likely scenario. Riptire out here from Za early on. So long as it doesn't hit them, they're going to get a good spot here. Riptire still up and around, still moving. No, taken down by Corey at the last moment. Legion now able to move in. Blase holding on to the Graviton Surge, waiting for the right opportunity. Moving on in, drops the grab, right near the Diva, not Eden. Risky stuff, pulls in two. Is the fall through gonna be there though? Not quite. Gladiators have to use the sound barrier to continue this fight. They didn't get much off the ground, but there's God towards the end. The whole hog at the right moment. Gets two, and here come the Legion.
Panker has fallen, but still it's the man advantage. Self-destruct comes on out. Krems, does he connect? Blase blocks it with his personal barrier, but Gods will fall now, and with these staggered kills, never mind, Blase, keep them into this. Corey now with the double kill, taking out both supports by his lonesome. Blase, supercharged up, pressing forward with the Zarya. 70% again towards another grab.
100% energy, 100% dominance in from Blase. As mentioned, I think they're Mikey, the equalizer, 3 in the back, kaboom! And suddenly Blase goes, okay, I might still, no, he actually drops the grab. Gutsy stuff. It's a bold move. It's not gonna work out.
Definitely did not work out, Cotton. Now, Gladiators Legion, down to 5 minutes and 26 seconds, still opportunity to be able to complete this out with more time in the bank, as they were able to secure 2 ticks off of that push.
They're not in a bad position here, but for me, it's all about Za going to the next fight, where if he can even just get the tire, the delay, it will probably assure Mayhem Academy of getting at least an equivalent time. But no, he's under pressure in the back. Panker knows he has tire. Oh, slept. No, woken up. That can't happen. He's their biggest threat. He just killed 4. You have self-sabotaged by waking him up. You have woken the beast and the Legion, now moving their way in. However, Gods is demeched by the tire, and this is still very winnable for Mayhem.
Yeah, you see Panker drawing back. They have to reset here. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left for the Legion. You see the difficulty that teams run into when they're trying to get rid of the Junkrat once he's up on the scaffolding, up on the high ground, the rafters there. You have to be careful, because what if there's a trap? If you jump in as Panker, you've got to make sure you're not going to fall prey to that trap. And so he's very cautious when he makes that approach, but doing that so slowly. Oh, wow.
You want a bright spot for Mayhem right now? More.
Oh,
and Mikey.
And
right
Mikey again.
Mikey's starting to feel his groove. Both supports down, just in case you want a reminder that the fight was really over. But the amount of early pickoffs Moore has been getting, way above the norm for your average Zenyatta, period.
So now Gladiators Legion, they're building up the bank of ultimates again. They're gonna have a sound barrier along with the pulse bomb here, but they've not been able to really get in. That might be the opening they're looking for. More is gone. Rolf has started it all off.
Revenge Tour on pursuit here for the Legion, but they're gonna lose Williamson out of the fight. Barrier though is in. Legion doubling down here, taking down Paintbrush in the back. No more supports left for Mayhem Academy. This is their golden opportunity, and that's why they're cutting through the tanks right now, but they've suffered a lot of damage. It's gonna be up to Corey to have crazy cleanup. Self-destruct over the top. It's working out here so far. They're really close. They only need just a tiny bit more to put this over the top. Are they gonna get it? It's looking good, but Mikey is still in the back. Zah back into the fight. It's not over yet, and Mayhem is fighting.
They just don't have enough resources right now. As we see in the back, it's Paintbrush. He's getting some free heals off, but there we go. Rolf comes in. They're going to be able to complete it out, securing that. Paintbrush finally dealt with Blase. Was able to get free damage off with that tactical visor.
So it is a quicker time being set by Mayhem Academy here, which means that it will be 2 attacks in a row coming in from the Gladiator Legion. They get a chance to sort of quickly go over what went wrong in the first attack and regroup. But much better showing here from Mayhem so far.
Definitely, especially with how it all started off right now. We'll see if anything changes up, and that's what I wanted to see. Krem's now going over to the Roadhog. Actually, no, he was already on the Roadhog. But no, Krem's, he wasn't able to do much with it just because, you know, it's a point A hold. How often do you see teams have great defenses on point A?
I mean, that happens every now and then, but it's definitely not your average results here on Horizon. I mean, assault maps in general, you should be taking point A. It requires something crazy on the defensive end to sort of break that mold.
So they're just going to go with that standard hold. This time, Mikey A might be a little bit more wary when he tries to take that 1v1 up against Corey, secure the health pack, control maybe a little bit more. But now it's going to be Corey's opportunity once again on this Widowmaker to open it up for his team to get point A.
Well, don't forget, too, the way Gladiators got in before is that you had Moore who almost took out Corey. Mikey A had a great opportunity to take him out early and kind of flopped it, like it was a misplay. And that's not really typical. You can't count on that happening again, given that Mikey is usually a higher consistency player, and you're going to have this hunt for Widow here in the back where Mikey will be going after Corey.
Yeah, and so Corey's just checking his pack. He's checking his corners now. As he does come in, he spots out the Tracer, forces out the recall. We'll see Mikey A go in again very shortly once his cooldowns are up, but as they push forward with this triple tank composition, they are met with a little bit more resistance this time around.
More resistance to be sure, and by the way, Mike A from flank gets Corey. Now he can put his attention on the main group, and the Riptire comes out so early from Zah. This push coming in from the Legion, not anywhere near as effective as the first time around.
Indeed, just mopping up these kills. Our Mayhem Academy, will he be able to even get the staggered kill onto Boost? No! Mike A backs off as he spots out that McCree.
Mayhem Academy right now getting the regroup, resettle. Definitely a good spot. About to have Valkyrie back up. Legion, though, again, their play was to get an early pickoff. Now they're just going to put Corey and McCree, and their goal now is just going to be to ground and pound this, where they're going to be going off the left flank. They want Legion to move over towards them. And look at Panker moving the shield, protecting the team. And oh, Panker himself is the martyr, ends up getting taken down. And now look at Mayhem Academy, going to rotate to finish the job.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the halt coming out from the Theresa, that there is also a slow applied. So if you catch the Reinhardt with it, make sure he's pulled back away from the rest of his team. Take a look, they're being pulled apart now. Gladiators Legion though, Corey comes in, Krems gets taken out.
It was a slow rotation for them. They need to be a lot quicker on this. They gave Legion a chance to reset, and even down Panker, it's Gods who opens things up. The Coalescence keeping the team well alive and healthy. And Zah, even though it comes out like towards the very end, I don't think it's gonna be enough as Gods continues to move forward, clearing out space, clearing out members of Mayhem, and this should be the point now for the Legion.
Mayhem Academy, of course, with losing point A, are gonna make the swap. Krems and Moopy swapping over D.Va and Winston respectively. Zah will be staying on the Junkrat with Mikey A, of course, on the Tracer now. But moving into this next fight, they don't have the combination that they want yet. You know, they want to have that Graviton Surge along with something like the whole Hog, but they still have to wait on it.
It doesn't really matter, though. They can get an early hook pick off, and that will be enough. It does put more pressure on Gods to get the early hook, but that is a very clear win condition here, where Gods is going to move up with Panker, being aggressive. He gets someone. He got the Winston. Do they get the fit? No, they're not able to finish it off here just yet. It was a good opening, and meanwhile, this gives them more time to build up ult charge, but Blase didn't get too much off the Graviton there, which is what they were probably looking for.
Still at 78% now, 22 still needs to be built up. I want to see how much charge he actually has. That's zero because he's dead.
Yep, 84% doesn't matter. By the way, speaking of dead, Tyre on the top. Zod dunking directly into the Legion backline. And Legion just took too long there, pure and simple. They were fishing for hooks, didn't quite happen, and now will God stand the Roadhog? It is looking like the answer is yes.
Yeah, Mayhem's doing a really good job of just not offering any targets for Blase to actually charge up that Graviton, which he should have had after that push. He's still at 90% now. He's going to have it. It's going to collide with Rolf's Coalescence soon. So God's dropped low. He was slept, but they will be able to keep him alive for now.
God's gonna take a nap on the job, but everyone's still alive. Blase, Graviton Surge up. Last opportunity here for the Legion to make it a clean 4 points. Blase moving forward. Graviton ready. Doesn't want to donate it to the D.Va. Has to be careful about where he drops this right now. That's his main goal. The disruption coming in from the Primal Rage. Both teams still very healthy. Coalescence in. Graviton in. Gonna pull in 3. Pulse Bomb out from Corey. Doesn't kill, but does do damage in the backline. Tyre out. Gonna find Blase. Mayhem Academy fighting this right back. They've dealt with this pretty well here so far. About to get a nano boost up mid-fight. Krebs going to drop the self-destruct perhaps, and Legion getting pushed all the way back. There's a nano boost. Self-destruct connects. 3 done. And Gladiators are gonna have to settle for just 3.
36.4% Gladiators Legion. That's all they were able to accrue here on point B now. Mayhem Academy with 4 minutes and 21 seconds. This is a great win condition for them. All they need to do is just force them off the point, even just a moment. This could be it for them.
It is worth noting that they did get progress on the 3rd point. So they do have a reasonable win condition here. They can give up the first and they can still win. So even though Mayhem is working at an advantage, if they don't have a good early successful first attack, where I assume Gladiators Legion is going to make some change-ups here, it very well could be that they could still end up on the losing end even as they take first. They need to take first with enough time to give themselves a chance of a reasonable second point attack.
And there are some adjustments being made now to the defensive line. Corey, who was playing the defensive Widowmaker, is going to go for the Tracer instead. Be a bit more reactionary, deal with Mikey A, try to keep him in check, maybe go for the 1v1s, keep Gods with the rest of the bulk of the army when they go for that high ground hold.
Legion setting up here on the defense once more, and it will be Panker on the Orisa, where what I'm curious about is that, yeah, they're going to keep the main force up here. Gods is the freelancer here, where he started out the very first fight with the pick-off on Mikey, then you had the reset. I do want to see if Gods has any more trickiness up his sleeve, because that's how you buy extra time in these very tense situations.
All right, gates have unlocked. Mayhem Academy looking for their first map win here. Start off the reverse sweep up against Gladiators Legion. Gladiators Legion, though, if they can hold for 4 more minutes, they will get this map victory. Blase starts it off well. Mikey A falls first.
Mikey A, I think he's perhaps a little bit too aggressive in moving out. I mean, this is the 2nd time out of 3 that we've seen him just get picked off immediately, so he's trying to rush things in rather quickly, and Legion, they were just simply prepared for it. This delays Mayhem quite a bit, and it gives a different dynamic to this fight than the last time we saw it up close.
Yeah, you cannot underestimate the damage-boosted Junkrat Corey, though. Taking that 1v1 against Mikey A, forcing that recall back. Here comes the dive from the tank line of Mayhem Academy. They're on the high ground here as Za is forced to translocate away.
Za forced to translocate away. Blase still here on the top, well protected, laying in all sorts of damage here on the Junkrat.
Za tried to get back there to go for a hack. I'm not entirely too sure onto who, but Gods says you ain't going nowhere more. Get back here. Gets taken out. A nice hold coming out from Gladiators Legion. They burn off a minute from the clock of Mayhem Academy.
Mayhem Academy looking forward here. They're going to swap Za from the Sombra to the Genji. There's a full-on change strategy here. They do have enough time to justify it. But now, you want to talk about things that can drain out time. Blase has the Riptire. Gonna let it go. Now, moving again to the back line. Hasn't been the greatest day for Riptires, but does pick them up. And that's enough. That will do.
Krems thought he had it. The micro missiles were peppering it down, but Za decided to just eat it with his face. He does receive the resurrection coming out from Paintbrush, and they're going to commit the Valkyrie into this push.
Well, they have to go back in, but they're positioning isn't as great as they would like. They're going to have to use more with the Transcendence early on here. Legion's still working at a significant positional advantage. They've already taken down Krem, so they're going to engage Transcendence here. They're doing it at a big tank disadvantage early on. And sure, Panker's getting picked off here. Now Pooks is going to use Valkyrie, and Rolf has to transcend early here to back him up while he goes for the res, but it's Zahn more in the back line. They've done way too much damage. Might not be a safe way to do the res, but hey, they go for it anyways. They bring back up Panker, but Mayhem Academy might have found the weakness in this Legion defense.
Quite possibly. They're trying to focus down Blase right now. He's dropped down low, down to about 80 HP, but he's got the pocket of the Mercy, and now here's the Riptire. Mikey A was able to get the kill on Panker, but still, you have to worry about that, and there it is. 1-for-1 exchange, but still, the defense able to hold strong.
Well, they're holding, but they're also incredibly wounded. Respawn's coming back in here from Mayhem Academy, and no, they're backing up. They're getting forced out by Corey. They don't go to continually keep up pressure, and that will, in fact, lead to a full reset with only a minute 30 left. This is looking rather good for Mayhem Academy, and they're going to have to focus on the Dragon Blade.
They have to focus on that Dragon Blade. Indeed, Rolf 25% away from that Transcendence. He needs to build it up, and he's been able to land these shots now, so he's going to be the primary focus of Mayhem Academy's dive.
Now look inside. He's built up the blade. He doesn't need a poke anymore. He just has to go for the kill. Dives in with the blade, going into the closed-in area, ends up meeting the Transcendence. Rolf was able to build the Transcendence in time, so Za ends up getting, quite frankly, denied. Gods brought back up by Pooks. Gladiators Legion still in a good spot. They are going to lose Tracer, but now they still have 5 up in and around the point right now. And Mayhem Academy still trying to commit a little bit deeper in. Zalo gonna fall. No one's checking Gods right now at all as he has all the room to himself.
Yeah, he's just been an unstoppable force right here for the defense. Krems gets hooked in. D-Mech, this is gonna be a great stagger for them. Mayhem Academy, it's coming down to their final push.
Mayhem Academy, they had 4 minutes and 21 seconds. That's more time than you normally have to take this point. Time that is usually sufficient enough. But the changes from the Legion have been so good. And now look at Corey. Pulse Bomb up. This is how you ruin a team when they don't want to be ruined. When they're going to be clumped up and most vulnerable to a huge Pulse Bomb, this is what Corey is looking for right now. They don't have much time for positioning. They just have to roll in. Corey looking for the Pulse Bomb on the back. Drops it in, doesn't connect. Forces out the Transcendence. An excellent start here for the Legion.
Definitely they are pushing forward now. The Primal Rage is going to be used by Panker as they're batting him out. He's dropped down low. He needs the heals from Pooks, from Rolf. Rolf is so close to getting his Transcendence. He's getting focused down now, but doesn't matter. 3 kills going over in favor of Legion, only in exchange, but Krebs is trying his best to keep this alive.
The Legion on the verge of a 4-minute, 20-second first point hold. They only need a little bit more. Self-destruct gets Gods. Gods not able to turn the corner quite in time, but it's still a numbers advantage on the point. Panker finishes it off, and the Legion gonna take map number 3 and thus the series.
That was a great hold coming out from the Legion there, and really, it was a lot of individual plays, but I want to highlight Gods. That Roadhog play, he was just an unstoppable force, immovable object, if you will.
Right, and even when they took him down, he was dying in positions in the back where he would get rezzed up most of the time. And never forget with the new Mercy, it's not really if you die, it is where you die. And he was pretty good about dying in spots where Pooks could come over and be like, all right, I'm bringing you back up. The terror is not over.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of playing that more reserved Roadhog style instead of the hard blue style where you just, you know, going off on your own, going off on adventure, going fishing, and trying to see what you bring back home. The fact that he was just staying with the bulk of his army the entire time and also just making sure that the flank wasn't being caught out by Mikey A. He was doing an amazing job.
I feel like that's the opening to a storybook. You know, Roadhog discovers the power of friendship. You start with Hard Blue being in the back line, flanking people. It's like, in the beginning, Roadhog killed a lot of people in the flank. But now, Roadhog has learned to utilize his friends.
I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in the Blizzard library. We can find it.
Roadhog is an adorable fairy tale character. That's the world we're in.
Well, we do have a replay, and it is, again, going to be coming from the Gladiator Legion. And it's Corey on Tracer.
Corey just laying it in. Good pulse bomb. Moves forward. Gets the clean kill after. And Corey was, this entire series really, he's been solid.
Yeah. We're seeing the finesse play coming out from him. It looks very calculated the way he's approaching a lot of these targets. He's not going instinctually. You know, you can tell some Tracers, they just play by instinct. And Corey right there, it was measured the way he approached everything.
Something that kind of stood out to me that you guys had said was that Mayhem was not keeping up pressure when it needed to. It sounded like there was a couple of places, especially in that last hold, where they could have maybe turned it back and at least won that map. But, you know, you guys said they weren't keeping up the pressure.
Well, it's like on first point when you've gotten a few kills down and you've staggered the other team, you kind of make the choices that, do I want to continue in this 3-on-3 situation and keep it chaotic, where the risk is that we lose someone and then we get staggered for a longer period of time, or do you go for the full reset? And it is a situation that is on the margins, but they didn't really feel confident in fighting those lower number situations, and they did go back for the full reset.
Yeah.
Well, it did seem to cost Mayhem that match. Let's see what they're going to pull for the last one. Map 4.
What's it
is Dorado.
Dorado. The only thing I dislike about Dorado is that it is not Route 66 and it does not have a whip crack for Rawhide.
Do we have the capabilities for that?
No.
We never figured out if there was an app for it.
We do not have the capabilities. I would love a soundboard where I could play the whip crack on demand, but yeah.
I'll be your soundboard, ZP.
I will whip you and you'll make that noise.
It's getting real awkward on the desk right now.
No, this is fine.
He's just ready for the new 50 Shades, by the way.
What you don't understand is that we're in our comfort zone right now, so you just assume that we're awkward on the desk? My God.
Never. Okay, so Dorado.
I mean, we saw it earlier today, but it was littered with Sombra play coming out, and so I feel like this might just be a similar situation. You can play the Pharah, and I think they should go for that kind of composition on the side of Mayhem Academy, put Za on that Pharah, Mikey A either on Tracer or Soldier 76, and run that.
I agree. Let Za Pharah. I think that is probably the place where we will see the most from him. I mean, look, I've seen a lot of Za play at different roles, and I just don't think any other hero he has in his pool is as good as what he brings to the table on Pharah. Now, that is a problem into the future where you do need to be flexible and do otherwise. But look, if you're looking to end the day on a high note, play what you are strongest at, go to your strengths, and I agree, it would be Za and Pharah.
So do you guys feel like there is some redemption in here for Mayhem?
Probably not.
No. Well, we're trying to be positive. Just shoot that down.
Well, the way like Corey's playing right now and God's on the Diva, I see them being able to shut down Za if he does go for that Pharah. Gods has been very cognizant of dealing with the damage threats, and so it's going to be a tough ask even of Za if he does go for that Pharah, even if he does go for that comfort pick.
The other part, of course, is that you can't really rely on it for all the time, but Moore has still been a beast for the Mayhem in getting early pickoffs and getting them fights that they otherwise wouldn't be able to win. Like I said, it's shades of classic Boombox. That's what Boombox used to do back in his E-United days. So, hey, leverage that a little bit more. I mean, granted, I'm saying leverage that a little bit more as if it's like a play. It's like, Zenyatta, go in and, like, kill two people.
Some people, yeah.
Well, but if that happens a little bit more, then, hey.
But there's some pushback also on the opposite end, because Rolf is also starting some of these fights off with his own eliminations on the Zenyatta. And it's just the world that we live in now. Zens are deadly. You have to be careful around all of them.
Well, the other thing that had come up in the past 2 maps now was kind of like premature ulting. You guys had mentioned that, we saw it with Za's Tire when they were playing Junkrat, and then also Zarya's Graviton being kind of thrown in a little bit too early, or like forcing Zen's ult.
Well, the forcing Zen ult thing, that's a case where it's always the interplay between the two, and Rolf kind of got outplayed in that case, where I think he should have just eaten the death. It would have been better. The Graviton part there was sort of, it was a little bit too late in that case, where the fight is always like, all right, please don't throw this in. When
it was just the Zarya 76, that one?
Yeah, but when you're so feeling yourself at that point, just high energy or microwave down, it's just like, you know what? I don't need a team at that point. I'm going to Graviton and kill 5 people.
Right on. Well, let's take a little bit of time to look again at Tuesday's matchups, just to kind of get an idea of what we're in for. We've got Envision against Simplicity at 4 o'clock, Fusion University against NRG Esports at 6 p.m., and then at 8 p.m. we're finishing up the night with Optic Academy going against Bye-Week. We covered this a little bit. You guys do have some favorites.
I just hope Bye-Week plays well. I don't want them to become a meme.
You don't want Bye-Week to be the meme.
They have put themselves in full, like, they're in the sights, dude. Like, if they go in there and they just get blown up, they have ridden their own demise. That's all I'm going to say. That is a risky
I'm
team.
looking forward to Envision myself. With the addition of Buds onto that lineup, they could be really strong. They have retooled themselves. I believe McGravy now goes for the Diva role, the Flex Tank role himself. So they're trying to retool their identity, and I want to see what they've done since the last time we saw them at APAC.
Envision, I mean, the last time we saw saw them in recent times was Overwatch Beat Invitational, where they were able to give a very strong fight to Fusion University. So, I mean, we have seen them in good spirits in recent times, but things have changed even since then. We have a new meta. We see Sombra a little bit more, which has both been a benefit to some teams, a hindrance to others, where perhaps they try and make it work when they shouldn't. So, anytime things change in Overwatch, you can't always rely on your past knowledge. You gotta see what teams are doing in the moment.
No, I definitely agree. Yes.
Very cool. You guys have kind of been sassing on Sombra a little bit today, and I don't know if is it just because we haven't seen the strongest Sombra players, or is it just that particular hero hasn't been working in the matchups, like in the compositions that we've been seeing today?
I mean, there's been a lot of Sombra failures, and end of it, I also kind of mock players when you get to the entire thing of, this has been buffed. Oh, it's the most overpowered thing ever. I can't believe, I don't know what the devs are doing. Why would you do this? And then you run it and you just get completely destroyed.
Yeah, particularly for me, it's just that I'm seeing her in situations where we didn't see her before, and I don't feel like the buffs actually warrant her usage on the maps that we're seeing her. Now, if we were on something like a Route 66, that's perfectly fine. Run that Sombra. She is incredibly powerful there, and that much more so because of the buffs. But you can't just try and run her everywhere.
Yeah.
So then let's talk a little bit about just kind of recapping for the day, because you have said we've seen a lot of Sombra failures. So let's just go back to the beginning when we were watching last night's Leftovers going up against the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies had a death grip on their Sombra, refusing to allow to allow any room for anyone but Sombra on that team.
Yeah, speaking to Sombra in situations where she used to be strong, there is a particular area where we were on Oasis for that XL2 versus Toronto match where we went to University. Sombra definitely is not stronger there after these buffs, because one of the strengths of her on University was that she could hack the mega health pack that was in that pit beforehand. The tanks could utilize it. She would build up the EMP, but she doesn't build up that EMP anymore. That is not a tool they can use. She is actually nerfed on that map.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, the reason why I'm a little bit harder on the play as well, and it's just because pro players get into this mentality, right, where I will bring the community a little bit back. Remember when Moira was released, and people are just saying...
Roll the tanks.
Yeah, exactly. We've released Moira with Nerf Mercy. Oh my god, what are you doing? It's going to be quad take every game. I don't understand. It's like, no, we actually have not been the reality. We're seeing, like, less and less Moira as time goes on. And spoiler alert, it's because that actually wasn't that overpowered. Stop overreacting when heroes get changed, please.
Yeah, and then we see just the mechanical prowess of teams that can run vanilla dive, being able to just take apart these quad and triple tank compositions. And so it takes a while for these adjustments, for these discoveries. I'm at least glad that these teams are, you know, exploring the options, but at some point you have to come to your senses.
Yeah, I think, look, there is something good for experimenting, like Godspeed, but also I get a little annoyed when you're running the same thing 4 maps in a row and it's not working 4 maps in a row. Like, maybe a map 3 you go, you know, but let's go more standard.
Well, it's hard to say, you know, to watch it and then, you know, what you guys were talking about, like one tricks and think Sombra's your one trick and you're losing with her.
Yeah, again, I just think it comes down to the idea that people come in with the preconceived ideas like this is going to be the strongest thing ever.
Right. Yeah.
Then it's not.
I mean, speaking to the case of the Grizzlies, I mean, we know Zapper. We've seen a lot of him, you know, Misfits, Laser Kittens. He played on some great teams, but the fact that we're not seeing him on a hero pool that we're used to, and said, I don't know if he's like relegated there, if he's using it by choice, only playing that Sombra is not something that I want to see. I want to see his hero pool.
I want to see him on Tracer. I don't need to see his hero pool. I just want to see him on Tracer. Like, bring me back to the good old days where he was saving Misfits from above. Like, let's go.
So, going along the same vein of ultra strong hero choices, it was our Genji versus Genji matchups that we had in XL2 versus the Toronto Esports.
Brother, we must fight. Even though you are now a clone of me, you're not even Hanzo. Maybe it's Hanzo cosplaying as Genji. That's our lore reason.
Well, he sure didn't play like Hanzo cosplaying as Genji.
No, he did, because Hanzo got his butt kicked in the cinematic. Like, as far as Overwatch lore goes, I'm pretty sure Hanzo's a scrub.
Oh, rough. Ooh.
I mean, you know, he spent all of his time having to deal with the family business, the Shimada clan. They've got a lot of their fingers all over the place, so, you know, it cuts into your training time.
I mean, he ultimately, when you think about it, like, Hanzo just rage quit. Like, he rage quit his brotherhood.
He rage quit his brotherhood, he rage quit leading his criminal empire, and then he just gets his butt kicked later on by his brother that he didn't even know was alive, so he's not very good at gathering intelligence. Look, I'm just saying that Hanzo has not had a proud history of success in the Overwatch lore here so far.
Yeah.
So why does he kill me so much when we're in a game? That's just what I want to know.
Well,
Because
scatter
you're just
arrows.
that bad, Gina. You're just that bad. Okay, but specifically about Genji versus Genji, we were talking kind of about how Mangachu was destroying people and then switched to Genji and just continued to destroy people. Like he was on Pharah murdering and then switched to Genji and there was not even a skipped beat.
Yeah, I mean, he's learned to play Genji over the break, where before his Genji, there were times it was like, I actually have physically grimaced in the past where I look at Mangachu, just like, oh God, Mangachu's going Genji. Well, this game's over. I can't think that anymore. He played better today.
Yeah, I mean, since the last time we saw him also over at like World Cup, there were other Genjis in the lineup for Team Canada, notably Agilities, of LA Valiant, who was there. So he didn't get that kind of same practice here. And there it is, the juggle. This is just classic Mangachu. We've seen this time and again.
Pharah and Nepal or Mangachu. Name a more iconic duo, or I don't even know.
Trio?
If it's a duo at this point. Yeah, it might be a trio at this point. I mean, I could have worded that better so it was a duo, but it's been a long broadcast day, and we are over
Yeah, you guys are champs. Just round of applause for you two. You guys are crushing it. You the tired.
I'll take a golf.
The tired.
Well, how does clapping work?
How does clapping work on the?
I barely know what to do with my hands on desk. Don't ask me to clap. Like, do you see me over here? I'm just like
another kind of clutch player in that matchup was Nene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We talked about it. LW, they know how to pick their players. NYXL, they know how to pick their players, and they know how to pick DPS players. They have such a deep stable of just these DPS studs right now, and Nene is also just being bred to stand out as one of the top.
Yeah, and I mean, Nene, obviously, I think he did work within the maps that weren't Control, but in Control we saw some of his potential where he would go in, pick off 2, pick off 3, get killed by a Genji there in the highlight reel. But yeah, I mean, overall, he had his moments.
Yeah, but I was still impressed by Dalton. He had a slow start, and it definitely did ramp up, and it hit that crescendo on Oasis there, but it was Nene who just came out up on top. He was just having nuts pulse bombs over and over again, 3-man, 2-man, just to clutch it out there on University for them.
One of the things that we saw a lot on that map, just to kind of to refresh for people who were tuning in a little bit later, was that Toronto Esports, they switched from specifically focusing objective to focusing the rival team outside of the objective to kind of even keep them from coming in. And as a result of that, you saw a lot of overextension that in another team comp might have ended in a much worse way, but it actually ended up kind of playing to their favor.
Well, fighting away from the point is always risky in Overwatch, right? Is that the upside is that you can buy yourself more time to get back to the point if you lose. Mm-hmm. The downside is you can overextend, get away from defensive positionings that are ideal, and then just go, good Lord, why have I done this?
Well, let's see what we've got going on. This is our 4th map. This is Mayhem's kind of final chance to see if they can get at all on the board for this matchup.
Well, it is Dorado. We're not hearing the Dorado music, but I'm imagining it in my mind right now, Jamerson.
Oh, yeah. It's just burned into my memory, the entire soundtrack of Overwatch at this point. I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, here we are on Dorado. Again, this is very similar to, of course, the Overwatch League. We play all 4 maps out because every single map matters. Map differentials will determine tiebreakers once we get off into the playoff region now. On the defense, it is going to be Gladiators Legion. Starting it off, they've got the Sombra on the defense. We're going to have some hack versus hack.
Sombra v Sombra, it's supported by the lore, at least here on Dorado, where it's probably not, but hey, it's our own map. Let's just roll with it. It's been a long day. Academy looking for their way in right now. A little bit of pressure being applied by Legion, but you don't want to be out here too long. You want to defend further back. It's way better for the defense. And they're hitting the right mixture right now between pressure and staying alive.
Yeah, and so they do kite back right now, do Legion. They're going to wait for their cooldowns to come back up, heal up, Blase, and Za still having some difficulty trying to get the damage off right now. They're trying to pepper into some divas. Rolf dropped low. They've got to be careful. Here they go. They're applying the pressure. Kiting back is Legion, and they're able to catch Moopy in that.
Well, they do lose Blase on the other end. 5-on-5. Pressure still coming in here from Mayhem Academy. But because they're down to tank, it doesn't matter that they have the Sombra advantage, because guess what? Baker's just got to roll up with Nano Boost and go, hello. That's going to push them back. It gives them time to reset and get back up to a full 6.
Za's going to have a difficult time coming in with this Sombra here. Sure, there are different avenues of approach, but right now, Legion, they've got their head on straight, and they are covering all these. Take a look, Corey right now on the high ground, making sure the Sombra doesn't just translocate up and then use the translocate once again to get over the wall.
Corey holding on to the Pulse Bomb right now versus Mikey. Doesn't want to take the Tracer v Tracer. Didn't feel it was worth the risk, even though his Pulse Bomb going to come back up. But Mikey has the orb, so he can't really fight this directly in the situation he was in. Instead of going to move the other way. Pulse Bomb out on Winston. Does he blow him up? He does. Moopsy out of the fight. And again, this is going to give the tank line more room for the Legion. They don't have to worry about another tank. They can power on through. Looking like close to a team fight win here for Legion.
Right now, both Sombras still having a difficult time building up that EMP. Za only at 70%. Blase is going to get the first one now. We have Pooks once again coming up on that nano boost. Panker, he's looking for it. He wants to go in.
Oh, but you gotta know it's gonna be happening soon. There's EMP though from Blase. Gonna buy more time for the Legion. They dive in immediately after it, and that's gonna be easy for them, and they got to save the nano boost. They got to save the Primal Rage. We're already down to 1:50 left of the man.
That is triggered discipline coming out from Legion there. Mayhem Academy now. Time dwindling away, but they are coming up on some great ultimates. Moore has his Transcendence. Paintbrush, of course, with that sound barrier. Now,
EMP.
it's the EMP Za. We'll see what he can actually do with
Oh,
this.
he's getting hexed first! He has lost the war of the hackers. Now he has to wait. He can't aid with the EMP. Meanwhile, the rest of the fight is still being engaged. It's going to have to be a late EMP coming out here. Panker holding back at the point. Has Primal Rage up and ready. Transcendence in from the defense. Wolf letting the Legion go back the other way. Both teams still healthy. EMP comes out late to the fight. Panker, he's gone. Not going to be coming back in. Self-destruct though, over the top. Doesn't quite connect. Academy, the late EMP has still worked out for them as Legion is literally backed into a corner.
Yeah, that patience has paid off. The supports are trying to get in on the kill feed there, but the point will be secured by Mayhem Academy. And now Legion are going to have to back off. Gods just stalling out a little bit.
Just stalling out a little bit, but a little bit is enough to a degree. They will have to back out to the second stage. Mayhem Academy going to be in second, but time has been drawn out for them. Only 3 minutes ago from B to C.
Neither team swapping off from the Sombra. They are going to commit to this as we move on to the second phase of Dorado. It's going to be Blase this time with his EMP. Sombra's not able to build him up every single fight, so you got to make the most of it here now. Blase, he has stealth in. He's trying to get into the back. The jump comes out from Panker. Doesn't hit that ledge, so now he has to use that Primal Rage and still gets the kill on Moore.
Gets a jump right back up, goes, I'm going to do another take on this. He gets Moore, and speaking of Moore, he's looking for it. Pulse Bomb signal out from Mikey. Gets Corey, moving back around, and Panker still able to get his way out of trouble. The important thing here is as they drop the EMP, it's the Legion in firm control of this team fight. Panker have plenty of room to work with, and it's the front line of the Legion putting their foot down.
Putting the foot down now as they are contesting the point. Mayhem Academy going to go for that reset into this next fight. Moore doesn't have to worry, nor does Paintbrush about an EMP coming in, so they're going to be able to comfortably use their support ultimates, but it's just having that finishing power, which they really don't with this Sombra. Za almost at his EMP.
Well, they were able to stagger Crumbs there, so it's going to be even longer for the Mayhem to reset. Again, the key mover here is going to be Za. Everything has to flow from that as they move into this fight. The Academy now moving forward. Za, though, doesn't have the EMP yet. I don't know why they're engaging this before EMP. They're using a whole bunch of ultimates. The communication could not be worse for Academy here, and this could really go back the other way. They're going to lose more. I don't understand why you invest all that when EMP was almost ready.
It has paid off now, though. It was the long con 2-for-1 exchange for Mayhem Academy, and now they're trying to apply the pressure. Moopy jumps in. He trades his life for Panker there, but still it's the man advantage now for Mayhem Academy. But Corey, drop down low, has to recall. Great biotic nade. Is he going to be able to commit onto the kill? No, he falls.
They do end up taking it, but it's nowhere clean as it could have been. It ends up giving Legion the ability to come back into this fight. It would have been far better, and they might not have even had to use as much as they did if they just waited like 5 seconds for Za to get his EMP. Now the Legion has an opportunity as they come back in. Gods holding into self-destruct and a great opportunity to let it fly.
With that, so Za was able to push up, get that health pack control. Primal Rage out from Panker. He's in the back, but he's receiving the focus of 3 members. It doesn't matter. Somehow this man still finds the kill on some more. Take a look at his HP. He will finally fall to Mikey A. That's a 1-for-1 exchange. range.
Well, the big part there is that Gods was not able to quite get the position he wanted to early in the fight, but he is back up, going to get the going to remech, and he does have self-destruct up when he goes in. He made a tactical choice to not use it before. Now, though, I think he's going to let it fly. Moves in. Wait, no, I don't think he's going to do it anymore. The nano boost. He was going for the self-destruct and says, okay, I guess I'm gunning you down now.
You receive that nano boost. If you go for it, you are going to lose that nano boost. And so he's going to hold on for now. Pooks used that nano just a little bit quickly, but maybe it was also Mayhem Academy noticing that and just backing away from it. 10 seconds left, Mayhem Academy. They reset for this final push.
Well, last opportunity here for the Academy. They're going to have to open up the Transcendence and hope that fireworks don't flood the sky. There's a Transcendence moving in with more. Gods under assault here. Going to have to self-destruct here on the ground, but Krems already out of the fight. The self-destruct catches Boopsy and the Legion holding firm right now. You still have Mikey darting in and around, but it's going to be a Herculean task to bring this back, and yet still might be happening. EMP up for Za, moving over the top, diving to the backline, drops the EMP. Didn't get the Zenyatta, I don't think. It was a little bit in the back, but might not need to, as Rolf wondering where all his friends have gone.
Yeah, without the information of where Za is, you saw how far back the support line of Legion were playing. They were playing all the way over here by the gate. And so when you play behind that gate, trying to play really passively, trying to make sure that you stay alive, safe from that Sombra, you're not getting as much healing off. And so the Legion fell to the wayside now, Mayhem Academy, with an opportunity to finish out this map.
It's probably the best opportunity they're going to get here as well. Mikey A with the Pulse Bomb. If you could just get a quick stagger here, that would let Mayhem really flood into the spawn doors and set up an ideal endgame condition. Gets hit by Rolf, did he get the stick? He did! Onto Pooks, not Rolf, but that's going to be enough. One support out of the fight. Mayhem Academy now moving forward. Panker under assault, down he goes. And even though Corey wreaking a little bit of havoc in the back, I don't think it's going to be enough here as Mikey A is on a tear.
This is the Mikey we were looking for, where he's just destroying teams 6v1. He gets hacked. He stays alive for now. No, he will fall. Ultimately, Corey allowing them to stabilize.
Not just Corey, but Boisse there. What a hack on the Corey to bring that back. That was looking very good for Mayhem and Gladiators. Not off their tank play, but this time off the flanking play. Able to bring it back in a bad situation. 15 seconds left.
15 seconds left. Mayhem Academy have to make last-ditch effort here. They got both support ultimates. Krems this time, will he be able to come up with a huge self-destruct for his team? Legion are still just trying to find any time at all to get more ultimates up. There's the Transcendence as they push forward.
Transcendence out here from more. They're gonna wait, and then drop the barrier. The Transcendence is done. They have to barrier now. Mayhem Academy in trouble. Paintbrush under assault. He's got barrier time. No, he doesn't hit the ground. Rolf stops him before he actually drops the beat, and it was wasted, but it doesn't really matter as time is running out. He wouldn't have another opportunity to use it anyways, as Rolf with a monster play to give the Gladiators a foot up. But wait, it actually might matter. Moopsy and Mikey getting it right back. What in the world?
Never count out Mikey A on Tracer here. They're able to fight back. Pinker on the high ground, just peppering away with them with that Tesla cannon. Now Corey, though, still putting in some damage onto the tank line, making sure that this payload doesn't move any further.
Mayhem moving forward. I take everything back. They could really use that sound barrier right about now. That would be huge. They don't have it. Panker cleaving 5 people over the top. Ends up giving his life, but the damage quite literally done in this situation. Barrier out now for the Legion. A big HP differential, but the EMP coming out just to make it even better for the Legion right at the end as Corey starts getting to work.
Yeah, it's just Krems and Paintbrush left out here. They're even cycling are the Gladiators, making sure that they don't give up too much here. Now Krems is trying his best to get back into a mech and keep this alive. It's Mikey A. He's got the recall. He's forced to use it as the orb is on him, and he will fall, and his overtime ticks away. Mayhem will be stopped short of third.
My, oh my, talk about twists and turns in the matchup. And yet, we have a very clear victory condition here. The Legion can complete the 4-0 by completing Dorado.
And that would be the first 4-0 if they do get this out. I believe our first 2 maps, yeah, it went 3-1 in favor of LNL and then 3-2 in favor of XL2. We'll see if Legion can get the clean sweep.
Well, if they do, it would be some classic for Overwatch, something that we actually have not seen here today, which is generally a good thing. There have been days where it's like, more for Overwatch, but I'm okay with having one game of 4 Overwatch.
You know, getting to see these teams compete here in Contenders, you know, it's been something that a lot of us have been waiting for a long time. So I'm going to relish every single map, every single minute of these games. So now, Mayhem Academy on their defense. Looks like they're going to go for Za on Soldier 76 and Mikey A, of course, on that Tracer.
And they're not going to be running the Sombra on the defense here this time. They're going to be running something a little bit more standard. And Za actually, to his credit, does have a better than average Soldier. It's not something that's really praised too much in his kit, but I've seen his Soldier in various different situations. It's solid. It's not going to win you the game the way that a Soldier like AKMs or Defran might actually do, but it's fine. It's good.
He just needed to be able to put out that damage. Consistent damage for Mikey A to follow up on. That's what they need. That's what they did with the Pharah Tracer combination beforehand. And so we're going to see, look to them to try and recreate that. Right now, Gladiators Legion. Gods. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it, but I would.
I don't believe you, Gods. Yeah, you get back into that mech. You know that that is what you're going to be playing up until D.Va gets changed. Not happening. Entertain your Hanzo dreams elsewhere.
All right, Blase, though, picking up the other Shimada brother, going for just the vanilla dive, 2-2-2, coming out from the Legion here. And so we'll see how well Mayhem Academy with this composition catch this dive. Corey taking the 1v1 against Mikey A. Mikey A going for that early recall.
Corey right now in the back line, and you don't want to underrate the importance of Tracer v Tracer, but Mikey gonna get taken down. Blase off the distraction gets Mikey, and look at the dive. Panker immediately diving in on Cincy weakness, gives his life for the cause, but got a lot of cleave damage in the process. And Corey goes, I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna have all your leftovers, and it's not even last night.
And there we have it, Gladiators. They're able to take this first fight, and they're going to press forward with that payload. And this is what I like to see. Proactive teams on the offense here. They're going to take a forward push here. So they'll try to catch out anyone who goes for the high ground. Mikey A might fall trapped to that bait.
Mikey A does not even know what is being awaited here. Blase almost has the blade up. Legion looking highly aggressive. Panker leading the way as Blase pulls out the blade to the back line. Nice deflection, followed up with the follow through. Is going to fall, but again, the amount of focus on it plus the damage he did, it's enough to give the Legion a huge edge in this fight. And he's trying to do a little bit of Soldier towards the back, but it's a rough situation as Legion still maintaining dominance at the point. Gods still working the point here. Pooks, and oh no, Pooks ends up dying. Gods had to be pushed back, and the respawn's actually going to throw it back the other way.
And Mikey A able to come up big with that. The pulse bomb doing the bulk of the damage to that D.Va mech, forcing Gods to fall back. And now here we go, the reset. 2 minutes and 15 seconds for Legion. Not much to work with quite yet. They're going to have that sound barrier. If they had that for the blade for Blase, they might have been able to walk away the victors in that last fight now. Still, it's going to be the power advantage for Mayhem Academy. Paintbrush with that nano boost. Is it going to go on to Mikey, maybe Moopy? We'll see.
Well, the key here is that you need to just wait for the barrier. You do have a window here where Transcendence will not be up. Panker leading the way, wants Pooks to open up the barrier. That's what he's waiting for it. He goes, okay, you're going to get this. Dives in directly in the Za. It's ruining this nano boost. He's not able to do as much as he wants. Panker's going to absorb the bulk of the damage, get out of there. The disruption is happening over and over, and Panker able to get away as the self-destruct comes from the heavens, takes down more, and it's a one-man advantage for the Legion as they skillfully play through that nano visor.
It's just all sorts of explosions in the skies, and it's Gods that comes up with that frag. Mikey A once again going for that TVT right now. Corey got his ankles broken, has to back away. Mikey A almost has another pulse bomb, but still, while he's taking that TVT, so many of the members are falling around him, and so it's all he can do to just throw out a pulse bomb, gets a consolatory kill onto Pooks, but that's it.
That is it. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left. Technically, the Legion a little bit quicker than Mayhem when they were at this last point, but not by much. Blase has the Dragon Blade at the ready. The key difference here where Legion can make up a lot of time is not getting gummed up on second, having a good fight off the blade, and getting through and won the 2 fights.
And there is a huge window of opportunity for Blase. Moore only at 20% now. He dashes in. He's got the blade. First kill onto Za. There's the second. Moore has fallen now. He will fall for his efforts, but still, this is the team fight win for Legion.
If there's a motto for Legion right now in Dorado, it is worth. It is sacrifice, martyrdom, where one person leaps in, gives his life, but does enough that everyone else is able to clean up. Tactical sacrifices winning the day.
Winning the day indeed. Now, Gods, once again, the rate at which he builds up these self-destructs, it's pretty disgusting to say the least. Now, he's gonna have one, Krem's a little bit behind now, but this is the only thing on deck so far.
Legion right now, taking it slow. This is a great moment for self-destruct, and oh, Panker, uncharacteristically, a little bit too far out, wasn't able to get back in time. that gives Mayhem the ability to re-solidify their positioning. Though they didn't use a nano boost on towards the end, they weren't expecting that hard disengage by the Legion.
I take that trade. I take that trade every day. Legion now, they've got that nano boost out of the way, so Moopy not as much of a threat, still a threat because his Primal Rage will be online. We'll see how much space that he and Krems can create for Za, who will have that visor, but I bet they wish they had the nano for it.
Well, the pulse bomb doesn't connect for Corey, was a little bit pressured there, trying to get the tank damage in. Gladiators Legion working their way around. Corey under pressure, 59 HP, able to get out just in time, and here comes Gods. Working onto a point, still holding onto self-destruct, but there's a counter self-destruct coming in right now. That's going to deback Gods, who self-destructs on his own, but it's behind a car that's not really where you want to self-destruct, as Mayhem committing to this fight even more. The tac visor out, Zon great positioning, guns down Panker, looking for more, in over the top. Mayhem with great positioning here so far, and they are 1 minute and 30 seconds away from the victory off a second point hold.
Nearly everything thrown at that, but most importantly, the support ultimates on the side of Gladiators that are going to have that sound barrier, but take a look at Mayhem. They're going to be able to throw that nano boost onto Moopy, and he'll just be able to get it to backline, just cleave at them, and more with that Transcendence to have in the back pocket there for this next push. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining for Legion to just get point 2.
Oh! More, how does it feel? Oh, he gets a second, both supports gone. Blase popping off at just the right time. Gladiators Legion coming alive. And for once, it wasn't Moore that was picking someone off. He got picked off in turn. This is the best opportunity Legion could hope for right now. We'll see if they convert.
They have already gotten some few kills here and there. Krems going for that self-destruct just to get that remech. More covering it for the remech now. They are getting the reinforcements now. Here comes the nano boost. Well, not out to Panker, excuse me, not onto Moopy, but onto Krems as he goes into the high ground, gets the kill onto Panker.
Legion had both supports down, and they weren't aggressive enough to finish finishing things out. We're now down to the final 25 seconds here, and though you do get the 2 stagger kills there, you demech Krems, you get Za, Legion is still a bit on the back foot, but there's a stick! Boom! Paintbrush out of the fight, and they will add some extra time.
Both of these teams just trying to give us heart attacks here on the desk now, and so Legion in overtime will be able to secure second, so here it is. There's no draws here whatsoever. Legion, will they be able to walk away with the 4-0? Corey, once again, going toe-to-toe up against Mikey A. We do have that health pack being controlled so far now, but he's slowly creeping up, clearing the angles.
I will note that technically it's possible for a draw, just never happened in competitive Overwatch history, but hey, I am down for a first right now. Let us go.
Yeah, Corey was taken down more once again with the initial pick on that Zenyatta, and so now going to reset. 1 minute left, but they are coming up with some great ultimates. Panker, we've seen what he can do with Primal Rages. Moore has to be careful.
Does have to be careful, but say under pressure, 14 HP, grapples out. Good support to keep him alive there, and now you see Moopy in the back, gonna have to use Primal Rage to stay alive. 3, 2, 1, you better Primal now or you're just going to die for free. Mikey out of the fight. Moopy has the Primal Rage, but he's still in a rough spot. Rocked and socked in the back by Panker, and now the Legion. Moving forward, Panker sends his blood in the water, doesn't actually go forward, and that's because he just valued his life more than chasing those last 2 kills.
Definitely he needs to buy more time for his team now. He's going to jump up and make sure that Soldier 76 does nothing on the high ground. Biotic nade forces Panker to back off. Moopy drop low along with Krems. He has to use that self-destruct, try to get it back, but there it is. The visor comes out along with the pulse bomb. 2 kills over for Mayhem. They might have stabilized Gods. Picks up the 1, but still, it's a 2-man advantage for the defense.
It's 6 seconds left. The Gladiators have no more time. Blase, though, finds more. Going to get taken down by Mikey. Respawns coming in as Mikey continues to clean up. Kill after kill. Mayhem, will they finish out with at least 1 point on the board? Do they slay for Overwatch here today? It is looking very good. Panker trying to buy time at the last moment. Does do a little bit more than expected, but overtime ticking down right now. Rule sacrifices his body on the point as Moira. Had the fade in. Next victim moving up. Corey has to rewind out. Goes back in time. Can he touch it? No, can't get there in time. It's gonna be Mayhem taking the final map of the series. A moral victory, if nothing else.